For the second week in a row, we got a solid episode of One Piece, and they kind of rearranged things in this from the manga in this episode. Like, we started the chapter off with the Revolutionary Army on the Kamabaka Kingdom, but in this case, we started off with the commanders of the Revolutionary Army, which was surprising. I think it helped the flow of the episode a little bit better. But that being said, we start off, I guess, with the town of Lucia, and if you may recall, the kingdom was mentioned in the previous episode when we found out that Princess Carmine got captured and they tried to hold her up for ransom. So obviously the king's gone for the robbery, so that leaves Pinkbeard or Peachbeard, a subordinate or underling of Blackbeard, because he was bragging about that because he had the Jolly Roger. I don't know if this is going to lead to anything or not, but either way, he's at 50 mil. He goes invading the town of Lucia, or at least one of the towns. And he's just causing havoc all over the place. Like, fear us in the name of Blackbeard. He's bestowed upon me the name Peachbeard, which is kind of lame, especially considering the fact we know for a fact that Blackbeard doesn't recruit the weak. I mean, that was proven during the time skip when he captured Jory Barney, and he said, "I don't allow the weak to join me, but if you became my woman, that'd be a different story." So here, I just find that kind of interesting. Either way, this gives us an opportunity to introduce us to the captains or the commanders of the Revolutionary Army. You may recall they got hyped up, and the reason why that's important is because we went to Baltigo before Jesus Burgess found out what they were hiding because he had the Beaver card. We know what happened. He saw that Dragon and Sabo were there, so he contacted Teach to bring in some reinforcements, get him a doctor, and we do get a reminder in this episode. But either way, before then, Dragon's like, "Oh, the world's in chaos now, so we can't let our guard down." So Koala called all the commanders of the Revolutionary Army, and she's like, "Do you really want to gather that much power in one place?" So they were hyped up from the get-go. So I can't wait to see what they do with this initial war they're about to unleash on the Celestial Dragons. So mercilessly killing fodder or villagers, and they go after one girl in particular, who I guess a dairy girl, who has a bottle of milk. And what the scene does is introduce us to a heavenly tribute, which is very important to the Tenyo Beto or Celestial Dragons. The king used that to give them money, a huge amount of treasure, so they wouldn't be killed, I guess. But without that, they'll be killed, or at least this girl will. Try to rummage through the town or the village and get that of Lucia. And before you know it, Belly comes in and I guess this girl bounces into her. And this is where the commanders step in and step up. Then we get each introduction. We get Morley introduced with his powers, and it's similar to Pika, where he can manipulate the stone, I guess, because it comes on from the ground, and then you see the trident come through, similar to Katakuri. And then you just see his face pop in. Now he's somewhat of an Akuma, like the transvestite, because the way he is, he's a giant, so you can assume he's from Elbaf. But he has a mini skirt on, which is kind of disturbing. Not gonna lie. Then we get introduced to Lindbergh, being a cat who likes to invent stuff. He comes in flying with a jetpack. That's kind of cool. I like to see these. I like the fact we got these designs, even though they're kind of teased and spoiled in the opening. But that being said, it's cool we're getting the voice actors as well. Belobetti's voice actor I really dig. Lindbergh comes in. Then we follow that up with Itachi, aka Karasu. May seem familiar to you. He also escorted Sabo off Dressrosa with the crows, so that's his calling card. That's his devil fruit. The way he comes in, like a boss, and I like his voice actor. He has a voice box over his mouth. I'm going to get into something by the end of this review, but that being said, they come in like bosses, and Belobetti's like, "Do you want to fight for yourselves, or do you want to end up like trash?" So they're all being hyped, and I do like how they introduced each of the commanders from the Western forces, the Northern forces, the South forces, and the East forces. And I have a question: does each of those locations have any indication on the South Blue, East Blue, North Blue, and West Blue of the Grand Line? I'm just throwing that out there because it's interesting that they described each commander with each direction in the Western forces, etc. So we get introduced to Belobetti first. Eastern forces. So is she from the East Blue? That's one my question here. Then we get introduced to Morley from the Western forces. Then we get introduced to the Top Cat, I guess. He's from the South forces, and then Karasu's from the North forces, and he's by far the most suspicious of the bunch. Then it gets mentioned, they're hyped up, the commanders of the Revolutionary Army, Peachbeard. That's weird to say. In the manga it's Pinkbeard, but Peachbeard is freaking out. Then we go over to the Kamabaka Kingdom, the land of the Transvestites, where we come to find out that's the second base of operations for the Revolutionary Army. Makes sense because we get to see Ivankov, so that's hee-haw! So that was kind of cool, seeing him again. And Dragon and Koala discreetly are making their way to Kamabaka Kingdom. I wonder, we have Sabo looking at Luffy's bounty poster, going fanboying all over. We do get a brief scene on the Sunny where Luffy was asking Nami, is anything in the papers about the Revolutionary Army? And Nami's like, no, not yet. So that was interesting. I guess Luffy's all about Sabo. And we get a brief reminder of what the Revolutionary Army is when it comes to what they're about. They're an organization opposed against the world government. Most specifically, the Celestial Dragons. So that's the war, that's the conflict. And then we get a brief description of what happened in Dressrosa with the Luffy and Sabo reunion. Well, this was hilarious. Koala's like, oh, Sabo's face is like, he's gone weird because he's been smiling all over so long. Like, so that was funny. Sabo just casually says, oh, we need to get our shit together, so we have the gathering. And I do like how Ivankov was like taking a look at the bounty posters along with Dragon. Dragon doesn't really care. He mentioned, oh, Mugiwara boy is at 1.5 bill, so yeah. So that's something to be proud of, even though the gag with Dragon and Luffy still continues. They don't seem to care about each other at first, so that's kind of funny. Then Ivankov mentions about Sanji, Gemma boy. You never mentioned that shit to me, so Sanji be keeping your secrets, not cool. Also a brief mention between Dragon and Ivankov about the Gemma no longer being affiliated with the world government, so they're not able to attend the revelry, which I don't know why that's relevant, if in fact the Vince Smokes are dead at this point, because why would they bring that up if it's not going to be important in the future? There's also when Sabo was on the Dendamushi to Limburg saying we're gonna be a little bit late because we're taking care of stuff at Lucia town, so can you hold up for that? Sabo's like, just be careful, you got this. Dragon's like, we need to discuss more important matters. Sabo's like, yeah, we're about to invade. And all the revelry, they mentioned that, so we're about to unleash war on the Celestial Dragons. So that means the revolutionary armies are coming into town during the revelry. So there you go. So once they announced that, the hype begins when it comes to the One Piece fandom. I know it did when this was in the manga. Then we go back to the Lucia town, and we come to find out the hype is in, and they realize who the commanders are. So now they're fucked. So we get a brief description of what each of them can do when it comes to the devil fruits. Obviously, Morley has the ability to go into the ground or go into the stone, because similar to Pika. Bella Betty has by far the most broken ability because she's able to wave a flag, the Pump Pump No Mi or the Pump Pump Fruit, where she's able to coach even farther to become powerful. She's like waving the flag and they're like ready to put up a fight. Farther people are putting up a fight against Peachbeard. In fact, that girl that was like terrorized by Peachbeard and company, she gets the final blow in. So, and you see one of the villagers with his muscles pumped out. So yeah, that's all broken ass shit. So can you imagine what she can do when it's someone strong and she's trying to coach up to continue the fight? So that could be very handy. Limburg, I'm guessing he has the intervention devil fruit. We don't really know, but he's just firing bullets all over the place. Karasu has the crows, like I said, so that's interesting. And they're taking care of business, but the villagers are the ones end up snuffing these guys out. And like I said, the milk girl ends up grabbing a stick and smashing him across the face. The father just leave the leader or the captain and just take off with the ship. I don't know how smart that is. There's two problems with this move by the commanders though, and I'll mention it right briefly. But it's done, and Bella Betty's like actually coaching these people. Will you fight for yourselves, or will you end up trash, like she said at the beginning? But it's like, our job is to fight for people like you, so we won't turn our backs on you. So that's kind of cool. Another part of the commanders. I'll hand you this. Call me anytime. It's the Viva card. I think. I'm not too sure on that. Don't quote me on that. But it looks like a Viva card. Calls anytime. That could be a problem, especially if it gets into the wrong hands. We know how influential that was when it comes to Burgess having the Viva card. And then the Blackbeard pirates came into town on Bodgo. They did damage. Then came in the Marines. By the way, we did see some Marines at the beginning of this, so I don't know if that's going to have an impact on this. But that being said, then we found out the Cypher Pole also came in. We don't know which unit, but we do know Blackbeard hightailed it. And that's the last we saw of the Revolutionary Army until this episode. So if that was a Viva card, that's a problem, because I could end up into the wrong hands pretty quickly. And the second problem, and it could be, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but either way, is
one of these commanders is not like the other. Can you guess which one it is?
The part of Karasu when the commanders are walking away. It's like we're gathering to go to the Reverie now. Flip war on the Celestial Dragons. Meanwhile, Karasu, you should switch your voice box on. So it's like, oh, I forgot, sorry. But did he really forget? Because it seemed like an important detail to not skip over. So I don't know. And there's something about his design.
So there's a distinct difference between the Bella Betty, Morley, and Lindbergh. Notice the difference on Karasu and the fact that he's not wearing goggles at all.
You notice his robe or his jacket, very, very similar to that of Doflamingo and Kaido. So I'm just going to throw that out there, okay?
Could it be possible that Karasu could be a spy working for Kaido?
We end the episode with Sabo and Dragon's like, yeah, it's time to do this. We're going to cause war on the Celestial Dragons. So that's going to be some hype. Next week, we're going for a flashback with an adventure with Alkainu. So I don't know what that's all about. It could be hype. You can see what Alkainu's been through. He's just been pissed off the entire time. So we even get to see Kizaru and Sengoku next week. So that's going to be kind of cool. Get some information of what happened with him and Aokiji. You think I forgot about that shit? I want to know what happened on Ponkaza between Alkainu and Aokiji. So, like we said, this was another pretty decent episode with the Revolutionary Army commanders. What do you think about the designs? And whose did you like the best? I have a funny feeling a lot of people are going to fangasm over Bella Betty, and rightfully so. But either way, it was cool to see him introduced, and as well as Sabo and Dragon again, as well as even Koff, which is kind of cool. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Like this review if you did. Subscribe to for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.